There we go. I think I've got everything started. All right, we're going to go ahead and get kicked off here. As people start to come in, I will kick them in and try not to kick them out at this point. Thank you guys very much for meeting up with me tonight. This is our second meeting for the Vice Presidents of Public Relations, and I hope to be able to continue to do this through the rest of the year and have a theme for each meeting as we move forward. So tonight, our theme is going to be on branding. And we talked about this in the last meeting, and a lot of people were curious to find out a little bit more about it and why we were needing it and the importance of it. And so with that in mind, I wanted to bring in a master of the branding world. Her name is Marcy Field. She is the Public Relations Manager for Region 4, which is a bunch of the districts rolled up into the region. Marcy, go ahead and say hi to the gang.
Hi, everyone. It's wonderful to be here. It's great to see our VPPRs coming together and learning together, because that's going to make the brand even stronger.
Hear, hear. I totally agree. I also want to let you know that we have Carl Murbach. Excuse me. With a sneeze on the phone or on the call with us tonight. I know timing is everything, right? I'll probably have to do another one here at some point. Carl Murbach is our district director, and he has joined us tonight along with Greg Carlson, who is our club growth director. I'm looking to see if we have anyone else from the district from the trio. I think it might just be the two cool guys here as part of the group. So thank you, gentlemen, both for joining us tonight. All right. As we were going to get started here, I wanted to do quick introductions for 1 to 2 minutes like we did last time. Your name, and the club that you're with. And then last time that we met, I asked for you to give a tagline and how you would brand yourself. So, did anyone remember to do this from last time? It'll be interesting to see how you come up with your tagline. So I will start. I'll go ahead and do that first. My name is Shelley. I am part of Bold and Blue Toastmasters Club out of Fargo, North Dakota. And my tagline is, I am a work in progress. How about that? Okay, I'm going to start, I think, probably from the bottom and work my way up. So Jill Joyce, would you like to go next? And Jill, if you're able to hear me, oh, there you go. Yep. I was going to say you're on mute, but go ahead. Jill, are you able to hear me okay?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw my chat. I'm actually in a pretty loud location. So if I get overrun by the background noise, I put an introduction in the chat, but I'm from Gallatin Valley Toastmasters in Bozeman, Montana, Club 4880. And I was not here for the first meeting, so I'm going to create a tagline on the fly and say, leading with gratitude and enthusiasm.
That's awesome. Nicely done. You really don't have to think too hard about it. Sometimes the best ones are off the cuff. So thank you, Jill. I appreciate it. Tolly, would you like to go next? Did I pronounce that correctly? Holly, I'm going to pause you there for a second. Am I the only one having some troubles there hearing her? Are you struggling a little bit too? Yeah. I think your connection might be a little bad. Do you have a way to put the information in the chat by chance and maybe check your connection? We were unable to understand you, unfortunately. Gotta love technology. It never fails me. Nope, it's still not working very well. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to let you regroup there, and we'll move on here. Oh, she dropped off and must be coming back in. Always good to try to reconnect. Todd Taylor, would you like to go next?
Sure, I'll go next. Start the video there. Oh, I'm sitting in the dark, I guess. But Todd Taylor. I'm from Maros Toastmasters Club, and I guess my tagline would be 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
That works. Thanks, Todd. Kimberly Rude.
Hi, I'm Kimberly. I guess I don't have a tagline. I have been trying to get my video to work and it's not working. So
Is your tagline, I don't have a tagline?
that probably would be a good one.
I might circle back to you to see if you've come up with one. So I'm not going to let you off the hook that quickly. So if you don't have one now, hopefully you will by the end of the meeting. Fair?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Susan, would you like to share as you're getting into your car?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am getting into my car. Okay, my name is Susan Hansen, and right now I only belong to one club, which is a big old surprise for me. It's Shooting the Bull, Toastmasters in Missoula. When it first started about 20 years ago, it was sponsored by the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. And that's why we got Shooting the Bull. Double entendre there. I think it's so clever.
What do you have for a tagline, Susan?
Tagline. Let's see. This is personal, not for the club, right?
Yes, I would prefer a personal one. Thank you.
A personal. Keeping you all in line. Keeping you all in line. That I guess that once you've served in as the area director or the division director or beyond, that you think you know all the rules and you want everybody to follow them. And that is me. I have tried to relax a little bit, and I think that my club mates probably appreciate that I can have been able to let some of that go.
Okay, so I heard 2 different ones there. I think maybe the tagline should be "Let it go."
That would work.
Okay, Susan, thank you for sharing. Dorothy, would you like to go next? There's no rush. You'll find it there. The mute and unmute might be on the bottom of your screen if you hover over it a little bit.
I disappeared.
There it is!
Yeah, my whole screen is black right now, so I'm so my tagline all I see you right this minute is Shelley and not very well. My tagline is probably lost again. Failing at technology. I don't know. I'm Dorothy Rosby, and I am with Top 5 Toastmasters in Rapid City. And yeah, tagline's got to be something like failing at technology again, because I'm in the dark. My whole screen is dark. I don't know.
I'm not sure how I might be able to help you there. My favorite option with Zoom is the escape button. It seems to reduce down windows a little bit from time to time if they've taken over my screen and given me some other options. I don't know if that helps, but that's the best I can do for you. Okay.
I'm gonna keep playing with it because it was fine a while ago, so I don't know what I did, but okay. But yeah, that's me.
I'm gonna say no. I think it's determined or don't give up. I think that's a better one.
There you go.
Right?
Never give up.
All right, Marcy, would you like to join in on the fun here?
I would. My name is Marcy Field. I am with Fleur Communicators, located in Calgary, Alberta. And I'm also a member of PR Masters, which is started out of Portland, Oregon. So I'm in both District 7 and District 42. We do have a tagline for PR Masters, We are PR masters because PR matters.
Oh, nice. Very
And
nice.
my personal tagline would be enjoying the moments, creating precious memories.
Nice. Oh, that's like getting a little warm, fuzzy hug. Thank you, Marcy. Tatiana, birthday girl, you're up.
Thank you, Shelley. Welcome, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Antiana Beck, and I am with the Centurion Club out of Bismarck, North Dakota, and I also do Skills Club. And my tagline would be old enough to know better, but still too young to care.
That's a mic drop moment. I like it. Thanks. I appreciate it. Greg, welcome.
Good evening, Greg Carlson, Bismarck Toastmasters Club 717, Club Growth Director for District 78, Bearded Minion in service.
Oh God, I knew this was going to be fun. I love it. Thank you very much, Greg. Carl, let's save the best for last.
Thank you very much. Carl Murbach, member of the Mount Rushmore Toastmaster Club and Skyline Clubs in Rapid City. And some of you have heard my tagline before. It was actually made famous by that famous philosopher, Yogi Berra. And it is, the future ain't what it used to be. Now, if you think about that, that's where we are at in Toastmasters. So that is somewhat my theme for the year is the future ain't what it used to be. We're always moving forward.
Nice.
Back to you, Shelley.
That's a good one. That one made me think. I was like, oh, and I'm like, oh, wait, huh? And to be honest with you, I thought you were going to say Yogi Bear. So I'm glad you went Yogi Berra. That was good.
I didn't say picnic baskets.
That's true. I love it. I'm going to circle back to Tolly. Would you like to try and see if your connection is a little better this time? Fingers crossed. Let's see. Let her see if she can.
Hi, my name is Tolly Pat.
I think nope. I think we're stuck.
The last chance last before.
Tolly, you're still cutting out, unfortunately, but I did see.
You can't hear me?
No, it's cutting out a little bit more. Try again, right there. Try again.
My name is Tolly. I am from Last Chance Toastmasters out of Helena, Montana, and my tagline is "Life is good."
Yes, we got you. Thank you very much. All right, we had a late bloomer over here, Sherry. I don't know if you were able to jump in here or not, but we were just going through and doing some quick introductions and offering up a tagline. So I'm going to go ahead and move on with the meeting, but I am going to circle back to some of the other members towards the end of the meeting if we have time, and ask you to provide a personal tagline. The reason that I asked the members of the meeting to do this is that we are talking about branding tonight. Toastmasters as a whole has worked extremely hard and provided a great resource foundation for us to start to use when we are beginning to promote and sell and talk about Toastmasters in every way, shape, or form, and in every format and platform around. And as I mentioned before, we have a great guest tonight. Her name is Marcy. She's from Region 4, and she is taking care of public relations for our region. And I wanted to give her the floor here for about 5 minutes to be able to give you some background on the importance of branding and any other wise words of wisdom that you could share with us as we continue to move forward with understanding how branding should be used. Go ahead, Marcy.
Thank you very much, Shelley. I love being with you guys because some of my favorite cities or towns that I get to visit when I come to the States are represented here. My husband and I, up until 2 years ago, came down to Montana on a regular basis, and we are looking forward to that opportunity again soon. We've done some other traveling across the States. One of the things that I became aware of when I accepted the offer to become public relations manager for District 42 was that I became aware that I would become the brand police. It was one of the duties that my district director advised me I would be responsible for. I then had to become familiar with the Toastmasters brand and learn a little bit about the history of that. And it was really important when I found out that it was released. Now, I'm not going to get the dates right because I don't have them in front of me, but it was the international convention that took place in Vegas, was when they released the new brand and repositioned it. What they had done is they had conducted a study across Toastmasters around the world and had found out there were all these different taglines. There were different uses. There was no universal logo. At that time, all the different clubs could come up with different representations. And they felt it was important to create a unified message. And they brought everything together, and at that international conference introduced the new brands. Then 2 years ago, we got a new brand manual was introduced to us, which was just updated in May 2021. And that is just a wonderful tool. Now, having come from the corporate world where I only used brands regularly, was very familiar with the brands and building on it and being able to do different themes, it was great to know that I had a brand manual that I could work with, that all of a sudden, instead of being a small entity over here, maybe just off the screen, that all of a sudden I could come in and be united and present a bigger message where everybody could look the same and people would see Toastmasters and know that I was part of a bigger organization when I united and took advantage of that book that was out there and took advantage of our brand. There's a lot of protection around the Toastmasters logo, but the logo, the brand, is much more than the logo. We often think of a brand as the logo, but the brand is much more. It's about our speech. It's about how we present ourselves. How do we show up? Do we show up professionally? Do we show up as Toastmasters when we come into that meeting? Is our message the same? Do we represent the core values in everything that we do? Are we coming forward with excellence? And I really see that as I watch and as repeatedly I have the opportunity to work with more Toastmasters around the world. It's exciting for me because as much as we're separated, in some ways, the pandemic has united us more as Toastmasters because we're all together in this virtual environment. I have an opportunity to be with you in North Dakota, in Montana, wherever you're at. I've had the privilege of being in Vietnam and other locations, and it's wonderful. And I joined a club in Portland.
Nice.
So in that way, it brought us together, and I'm hearing ideas outside of what I get just in my own area. Because as much as we may not think it, we have some regional things that we do. And I've discovered that from district to district, even though we've got these guidelines, it shifts and changes a bit depending on the district that we're at and how our communication has gone. But the brand manual, which Shelley's going to probably do a little bit more time talking with you later on, is going to put that in front of you. And you know what they did? Because everything's digital now, they made clickable links right in the document. You can click the links, get your colors, You can click the links, get your fonts.
Yep.
You can click the links and get your pictures. It's all available to you very easily to do that. And we have the opportunity to come together and to share best ideas. I really appreciate that Shelley has now introduced a VPPR monthly session where we've been doing that in District 42 for a while. And what I find is when we come together, collectively, we're so much smarter than one of us on our own. And I love that. And I can come with some really strong ideas, but then I have learned on this journey called life is that other people have other perspectives and they come up with things that I never thought of.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
You know, it makes a huge difference. And when I do that, when we learn from each other, our greatest learning comes from each other.
Yep.
And I love, I'm trying to remember who said it. It might have been Susan. I could have been wrong. Was the lady who said that, oh, maybe or Jill, I can't remember, where it all about the rules. Dr. Smedley has a saying, I'd like to go and get the book, but it's something along the line that we need to grab hold of the principles. There needs to be, it's more important to understand the principles overall,
Yes.
rather than the details of the rules. And that's, I can get the exact quote and I'll get it and I'll drop it into the chat later
Oh, that's
on.
perfect.
But
absolutely.
it's that coming together and working together that we learn all of these things,
Yep.
and being available. And I love the duplication. I think that we do not have to recreate the wheel.
Ugh.
And this new environment, because we're in the Zoom room, we do not have to recreate. We can share our best ideas.
Yes.
And I've heard some brilliant ideas from some of our new VPPRs in our district and from other people that I'm working with. And it has blown me out of the water how we promote with that. And I love it. One of the great ideas, and this, I'm just going to wrap up on this, that was just simple, is for my PR Masters club. When we do a promotion now, we had one that was talking about, is your club a secret? And we all did pictures. We had everybody submit a picture like this.
Yeah.
So we put them together, and that was our promotional campaign as we were building up to everybody. But people identified, they knew our members instead of it being an anonymous person.
Sure.
We have one now that's talking about open houses and it being a team event in sports. So we're using baseball caps and jerseys, but our models are our club members taking photos of themselves and submitting them to our VPPR. And we're having fun doing it. So
Yes.
don't you want to go to a club that's having fun? Let's do it together.
That's perfect. You actually just quoted something similar that Carl said last night too, when he was reminding us that we're supposed to be here having some fun. And so thank you for reminding us again about that too. Thank you, Marcy, for sharing that information. I think the biggest takeaway there is to let everyone know that the reason we started this group was to ensure that we have a platform and a space to be able to come together and talk about where we need assistance, how we can help, make sure we're all on the same page. We're all ready to move forward here together in some capacity. So with that in mind, I've had a few more people join, and if you haven't had a chance to go into the chat yet, please do. Put your name, let us know the club that you're from, and give us your tagline, your personal tagline, because we are going to be talking about branding tonight. So to kick this off, I want you guys to start to think about what you visualize with branding. There's a lot of different things that happen. So if you were to close your eyes and start to think about McDonald's, what is the first thing that comes to mind? The golden arches, right? And with Nike, you get the swoosh. Yep, the swoosh, absolutely. These are brands. These are visual ways for everybody on the face of the earth to understand exactly who they are, what they do, and what they represent. McDonald's isn't sports equipment. We're looking at food, and vice versa with Nike. So there is a really good purpose and background for needing branding. One of the things that I mentioned last month when we were talking was to remind everybody that you are not in charge of products for education. You're not in charge of creating all of the things that the club needs to do to promote membership or to promote educational needs. Your job is a brand ambassador. You have a vice president of education that should be putting something together that they need assistance with to promote education. You have other members that are in charge of membership, and if they're going to do an open house, they need to give you the who, what, where, why, and when. You use the Toastmasters branding to give them what they need. Now, we did talk a little bit earlier here. Marcy mentioned there is this manual that's out there. She's not joking. If you need to have a brochure put together or a flyer put out there that talks about an open house, that talks about a special speaker coming out, if you need to have something put on Facebook, there is everything in this manual that's going to guide you through this. So I want to make sure that you guys understand what your role is here in this, and being a brand ambassador and ensuring that as we move through this, your club reflects exactly what Toastmasters International looks like, what it feels like, and when they see that logo, they know exactly what it is that they should be able to see and feel and understand what it's about. Anyone? I'm going to pause there for a second. Does anyone have any questions on what I just shared there at all before I jump in and move on? If you do at any point, just interrupt me. I'm happy to stop yapping for a little while. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here one more time with you guys and let you know where I'm at here in the agenda. So what I want you guys to be aware of, first of all, is that there is a video that is extremely helpful out on the Toastmasters International site, and it is about learning about branding. It gives you a definition. It talks about what makes the Toastmasters brand work. It gives you an idea of visual elements that should be used and all the benefits of following these rules and regulations and all this lane that we're trying to keep into right now. So for all of us that are starting in these roles brand new, this is going to give you some very, very good background. I'm going to jump down here a little bit. I did want to remind you guys again what the purpose of public relations and PR is. And then it also says you are not responsible for membership and you're not responsible for education programs. So please take a moment to read through what your purpose is there. I mean, your job is to attract attention. And if you guys were on here earlier when Marcy was on there, I mean, if you see something where somebody's going like this, shh, you're going to want to figure out what the heck that's all about, right? That caught your attention in some capacity. There's a million different scenarios. You don't have to be that creative all the time. You can use all of the different resources that Toastmasters has in place for you, and you don't have to come up with things on your own anymore. And again, not recreate the wheel, excuse me. So when you see the purpose of public relations and defining what public relations are, does that seem to make sense? Is there anything around that you would like to talk about or question in any capacity? Do you feel like you understand what your role is? Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, somebody has to talk here in just a second, but yes, it seems to make sense to everybody. If we shake our head, yes, that does. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. We will move on then. I highly recommend that you take again the time to read through that or to watch that video there for leveraging the brand. And what I wanted to spend a little time on here is one small little project that I want to introduce to you guys first before we go into the brand manual. And it is about branding your meeting. When you think about all of the different paperwork that goes into creating a club meeting from week to week. You have roles that have to track things. You have a Toastmaster that has to follow an outline of the meeting. There's all of these different things that need to be captured. Table topics, who's speaking, what they speak about, who's going to win. The general evaluator has to keep track of all of the different evaluators and the different activities that are going on through the meeting. Did it start on time? Did it stop on time? One of the best things that I can tell you you can do, and it's one of the coolest things that I've found, is to be able to find a way to brand all of the meeting documentation that you use. Now, I know that we're in a virtual space here right now, but back in the day when we were meeting face to face, we would have all of these documents laid out on a table. And when you came in, I'm the grammarian, I'm grabbing my name tag, and I'm grabbing my document that I need to use to be able to complete my grammarian role. Same thing if I was a table topics master. I could grab my name tag and here's my documentation for that. When somebody comes into the meeting as a guest and they see that type of branding across the board, there's a feeling that's conveyed. There is a visual that is seen. That logo is repeated again and again and again on every single little piece of paper that you have out there. The other thing that I noticed is that every once in a while, people leave papers laying around. Wouldn't it be interesting for them to all of these documents to have contact information on there? So if somebody picked it up and went, what the heck is this? Oh, I can contact this person and figure out where to go. Small little things like that can make a huge difference in ways that you don't even realize. I want to ask you guys, have you had a chance to take a peek at the Word documents that I attached in the agenda at all and see what they look like? I'll bring one up here in just a second. Is there one in particular that you'd like me to grab? Give me an option.
The first one, the table topics, or Toastmaster, excuse me.
Okay. I was like, I clicked on the first one, which is the Toastmaster one. All right, let me do a new share here to make sure you guys can see it. Yep, there. Okay. All right, are you able to see that okay? Yes? Okay. This is one of the projects that I would like to see you guys take back to your clubs. Find a way to be able to have these documents created and put onto your website and or delivered to all of your club members so that they have it handy to use for your club meetings moving forward. This is a basic layout with the banner that is used for Toastmasters all the time. At a club level, your Toastmasters colors are always going to be this blue. You'll notice that when I had the agenda up, it has that maroon color. At a district level, we always use maroon. At a club level, there's always blue. So as you open up these other documents, you're going to notice the same color scheme being used there. Again, always part of the branding. If you double click into this area, you're going to activate the header, and there's a way for you to change this to your club name and number if you'd like to add. And then there's nothing more that you need to do with this bottom line. And what this does is provides an outline of what the Toastmaster and president needs to do throughout the scope of the meeting and the order that you should be conducting your meeting in. At the very bottom, there's a footer where you can, again, put your club name and number and your website, and then, of course, the website for Toastmasters International. I'm going to scoot down here a little bit more and show there's also a section here on reminders and tips on how to best conduct your meeting. Some of these still apply to the in-person side of things, and you could have two different sections added in here now if you decide to, online reminders and tips versus in-person reminders and tips. This is very generic right now and something that has been used by my club for a long time. I would fully expect you to take this back to your club and personalize it and make it work for your culture and your club. The goal here is to let the visual portion of this documentation and all the other ones remain exactly the same so that it looks the same and remains the same and has the correct branding on it. Thoughts, questions, violent reactions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
So we follow our meeting agenda. So this feels kind of redundant.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that the meeting agenda provides an outline of everything the Toastmaster needs to take care of while they're doing their role?
I'd have to read it in detail. I haven't seen your agenda with the itinerary or the meeting agenda yet, so I haven't been able to look at any of the documents. But
Okay.
a lot of it is knowledge items, and we have another document that we call our club nuances document that kind of pulls it all together into one document, which could easily be a source for this. But so I'm just wondering, I can feel the club pushing back, saying, "Well, why do we need 2 sheets of paper when we just need the one?"
These are very role specific, so I want to see if that maybe helps separate it out a little bit. Every meeting should have an agenda on there with the agenda topics and like the timing on who's going to be speaking, and it's very informational in that capacity. When you're looking at this Toastmaster breakdown, it really tells you that as a Toastmaster, you start with your brief remarks regarding the theme, introductions, then introduce the evaluator. Then you know that the general evaluator comes up and does this. So it actually walks you through step by step the best way to conduct a meeting. It isn't going to give you information on who the speaker is, who the evaluator is, who the Toastmaster is, which is typically done in your agenda. Does that kind of help differentiate a little bit?
Shelley, I think this might be something that our newer members would utilize, but our members who've been around for, whatever, 5, 10, 15, 20, might not be looking at it quite as closely.
Okay. And the main reason that I'm showing you that one is because it was asked for. The main purpose for me talking about these is to stress the need for the branding across the board. So I'm going to go into another one. Everybody has table topics in their meeting for the most part?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to get my screen shared again here for you. Give me just a second here. Boop. Maybe a different version of this will be fine. Again, this can be personalized to what the culture of your club is. If you're not in need of this specific one, don't use it. Use what you want to. I would like to see some of the documentation used in a consistent manner all the way across the board, no matter what it is you're using. Is your agenda on the correct branded agenda template? Guys?
Mine isn't. My club, many years ago, let's see, probably 8 years ago, when I first became aware of this beautiful agenda header, I used it. I didn't ask anybody. I just said, "Oh, that's pretty. I'll put it on and everybody will love it."
Yep.
Well, some of the members wouldn't even talk to me for about 2 or 3 weeks because they were really married to the one that they liked. So,
okay.
And so this was 8 years ago. Maybe they're more open now to something.
I think what you've identified here is an opportunity to be able to speak to your club about the importance of all of this and why you would like to be able to standardize some of the documentation that you have in your club. Whether or not you have like table topic ballots or you use the document that I have here that helps support the table topics master role from beginning to end. It gives the objective before the meeting, 8 table topics tips. Again, change this according to what your club culture is. I'm not saying you need to leave this exactly as it is right now. The most important thing is that you have some sort of documentation that supports your roles and has the branding on the top. I started with this as an example in a project for the group because I've had many people come to me and they're like, I don't know how to be able to handle all the club rules, and that people don't know what to do and they don't know how to handle what their responsibilities are. How do you train somebody in on being a general evaluator? You can do that, and then you have these documents available to help walk them through it on that day so that they don't freeze and get nervous in the process. Does that help a little bit more?
Shelley, this is Carl. Our club uses free Toast. And I know when we generate agendas off of there, we can pick and choose the details. We can have role descriptions, other things too. But again, that's automatically branded with that. So I know there are a lot of clubs out there using that.
Yep.
And like I say, you can make it very simple, or you can add in descriptions, other things. I always like to do that when I know we have guests and other members present.
Thanks, Carl. I agree. This isn't the only way. There are other ones out there. Can anyone else share with me? This was my next question, so you're headed in the right direction. What other branded material are you guys using for your meetings?
Sure, I can jump in. We're using the agendas that do have this branding on them, and they do have our contact information. We also use, and I don't know if every club uses this. I've only ever been in my club. It's a long, skinny piece of paper that's perforated that we use for our ballots and also for feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to find if I had an example here in my office, and I don't, but I'm not sure if that has our individual club branding or not. I know it has the Toastmaster International. But,
yep. It won't have the individual on there. I know exactly which one you're talking about. I see Carl shaking his head too. That is a piece of paper that you can actually purchase, I believe, on the resources portion of the Toastmasters International site. And it is generic, so there isn't any specific club information on there, but it is branded. So you're using the right stuff there. Yes.
I do love these. I do love these additional pieces here. We are not using these right now, but I can tell you where we have a lot of new members, especially, and we say, "Oh, you're the timer today. Speak to what the timer is," and they're kind of like a little overwhelmed, maybe. Yeah, they're like, and the timer does. So I think that's good, and I noticed in there are a couple nice notes as well for maybe some of our senior members who forget to keep clapping as people are coming and going from the podium.
Right.
That's our number. We've had people who are 10 years into our Toastmasters club who still forget that one,
Sure.
myself included.
Yep.
Yeah, I love seeing those little things.
I would highly recommend that you take the information there. They're in Word documents. They are fully editable. Make them apply to the culture and the way that you run your club. It's just an outline and idea to use.
For sure.
Okay.
I'll definitely take these back and review them with my
Thanks,
president
Nate.
and others.
Anyone else?
Shelley?
Yeah.
I can see how this would be really useful for those that do online and have guests that come online, and you could just throw these into the chat and you could say, look at this, this is what we're doing now. And then they have a little bit better understanding of what's going on. Because I know a lot of guests, they have no clue. They have no clue what's going on. And it would be nice for them just to be able to look.
Sure. That's a good point. Thank you, Tatiana. Anyone else?
I went off and looked at one of our agendas, our meeting agendas, based on just to see if it fit. And it's like, oh, look, it uses the maroon heading. So that's the district thing.
All the small little things that you learn, huh?
Yeah, I will say, so I've only been doing this for like a year or two, and our club, most of our club have been there for years and years and years, and they just know how to do everything. And it is hard to remember. It's like, oh, I forgot that part. Oh, I forgot that part. So those documents walk you through it. So anybody who's new and like me, I would very much appreciate it. So, but I just see the rest of them going, what? Anyway.
You're moving cheese. Sometimes that doesn't always go over well, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Marcy, go ahead.
I was going to say the brand isn't just your colors at the top. So part of the brand is that anybody can go into a meeting anywhere in the world, and we should have a similar experience. And that's what documentation like this helps us, is establish that brand experience wherever we go. We know that if you go to McDonald's anywhere in the world, you're going to order a Big Mac, and pretty much every place it's going to look the same. Unless you're in Israel, you don't go to McDonald's, you go to McDavid's, and they have things that are kosher there, right? But that's how this works. It's so that this kind of understanding as we build helps us build that brand experience. It's not just about the logo and the colors, it's the Toastmasters brand. I'm going in here and I'm not just going to hear table topics the whole time I'm at a meeting, unless of course it's a table topics contest, but or some kind of a special session. But it should follow a very similar format wherever we go at our meetings, unless it's a special meeting. So this is building that brand experience.
The other thing too that I was going to point out is that there is a specific font for Toastmasters, and I'll get over to that now. I'm going to be switching over to the manual. You guys are able to download a whole library of a specific font that you're seeing used on here. And again, it builds that consistency and that look that's the same and the whole 9 yards. So it's one of those things where everything that you need is available here for you to use. Anyone else have any last comments here before I switch over? I have the timer document up here right now, just to kind of give you an example.
I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So are these goals of Toastmasters overall, or is this goal what you're saying, use this consistency and branding and all this similar stuff? Is that for this district, or is that something coming from down from above, or is it starting at your level?
Sure. If you think about what Marcy said, the information that I'm sharing with you tonight is across the international program. So everything that I'm sharing with you would be the same thing that is being shared over in Dubai and over in England or in China. Every club that's over there would have the same blue header. The font that you see being used in the document would be exactly the same too, for the purpose, again, of being able to have that same type of experience no matter which Toastmaster club that you went to. When I say goal, I knew that this would be a way to provide you guys with a takeaway and something that you could bring back to your club and try to get something new started there, and a very simple way to institute some very basic branding that can be carried on through this year and beyond. So the goal that I'm setting is definitely internal here with us, but the requirements and everything that we're sharing is very much on an international side. Does that help?
Yeah, because I've got a lot of senior people I'm going to have to convince, so
well,
it helps to have.
Let's stop here then, and we can provide you with some very good ways to be able to convince. And this is available here on I'll get my screen shared again here. I keep forgetting that it doesn't show this automatically. Bear with me here. Screen share again. There we go. One of the other attachments that's in the agenda here is the brand manual. So this is what I want to spend the rest of the time on here. And I do know we have about 10 minutes left. So I will move here into this and get that shared. So when you say that you have a lot of seasoned members in your club that they have their way of doing things, they don't like to look at it any differently, this is a good thing for you guys to use as an example on why you need to consider changing just some small things. This isn't a way for you to change who you are as a Toastmaster. This isn't anything like that. These are just visual cues and adjustments that can be made to make your club look, feel, and be understood on a consistent basis. I don't know how much you guys have been able to go through with this, but I'm going to kind of go through these first few things here, and it talks about where a tagline is, and this is what I asked you guys to do. You guys are familiar with the Toastmasters tagline, where leaders are made, and the core values are exactly the same, and the brand promise is exactly the same. As we're going through the brand manual, I want you to take note that all of the pictures that you're seeing here, the font that they're using, the colors that are being used are all available in here, and again, a way for you to consistently look at this information. There's information about voice and tone and personality, and this is kind of the stuff that Marcy was referring to. It goes beyond just the way something looks, but the way something looks can portray a personality. You look at the way we dress. That translates into some sort of version of your personality from time to time, right? And if I was talking like this all the time and tone of my voice was that way, you would think me a very angry person. Our voice and tone can be reflected in the way that we write things and the way that we see things. I'm going to scoot down to the visual guidelines here. And there's very specific ways that you should and should not be using the logo. There's been quite a few times where I've seen different documents put into place and the logo was like stretched out about, and I think they have examples of it on the next page here. Oh, maybe not. I thought they had, oh yeah, down here. There's do's and don'ts. Changing the color isn't appropriate, the background, no, it's supposed to look exactly the same. There's different versions of the logo and different, some with a tagline, some without, some with it stating Toastmasters International. There's a lot of different options there. So beyond the logo, there's the word mark and the lockups and reminders here on what yes and no are. I'm going to pause there for a quick second. What do you guys see there as questions? Does this seem like pretty basic? I mean, anybody going to have some violent reactions and be able to? I think most of your club members should be okay with that. Yeah.
What was the lockup, or what was that? I saw that you flashed by there.
What it is the
Logo
logo.
lockup.
Yep, and
Okay.
it is the Toastmasters logo and or the website.
So it's just that combination is called the lockup. Is that what you mean?
You
Okay.
put the tagline and the logo together.
Yep.
Lockup. Okay.
And I want to be able to show you here, like Marcy mentioned before, you can click on this link right here and it will take you right to them down the bottom. So this copy that you guys have, click there, it'll come up with these specific lockups. You can grab them, copy them, and put them into your document the way that you want. You don't have to do any extra work. Anyone else have any questions? Okay.
I realized I was on the brand portal for a second and looking at the website standards, and I realized that our website is wildly out of brand standards. And I feel I feel bad because this is exactly the type of thing I do during my day job, is make sure that things are in compliance with brand standards. And I'm like, oh, now I get to play the bad guy. I get to might need to take that back to the club president and talk to some of that too.
Now you get to provide an example of our core values and excellence.
Exactly. Everything's a learning opportunity, right?
Yes. I think one of the most important things that I took away from the brand manual is actually this color palette. So when you start to include color in your fonts, color on your backgrounds, they should be following this color scheme in some way, shape, or form. And if you guys, I'm going to pause here for a second. If you need to know how to apply these, we can talk about it after 8:30 here, and I can walk through some of the technical parts of it. But there is ways to be able to set background and font color with these specific things, and these numbers that look like gobbledygook and the Pantone things are all instructions on exactly the combination of the colors that you need to use to make it work. And your Word documents all fall into this. You'll have options to use one of all three.
Is there information about creating graphics? Are there guidelines for standards for graphics?
Go ahead, Marcy.
You know, like for a Facebook event page or a post, some kind of social media post?
Yeah, there are images right here in photography. This is a really important page. You can maybe read the page number better than I can right now. But if you wanted to read the second paragraph here, this is a very important thing that it tells us we cannot use animations. We cannot use clip art. We have to use images that show people that are engaged in a conversation like you would find at a Toastmasters meeting. So we're going back to colors. If you're going to do Halloween, please do not make your poster orange. use it. You can use some of the others. If you have a time at your club that people dressed up in costumes, perhaps, you can use pictures of your members as an opportunity if you're using a Halloween theme again for something that you're doing. But that second paragraph on that page details this page is really important when you're talking about all the things that you need to create. If you have any questions at all with what you've created, put it back to brand at toastmasters.org. That they will let you know whether or not you are being brand compliant. And if you start working, we've had people that have started using, you know how you start doing those cartoon ads that are being done? And we're trying to see if they will allow us to start using some of those because they're a great promotional product. Currently, anything that is animated, anything that is a cartoon character, those are not allowed. Clip art is not allowed to be used.
Thank
It's
you,
supposed
Marcy.
to be a picture.
Yep.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Are they allowed on our Facebook post? I will start using this, but I didn't know where to find them. I mean, I didn't know how to use those, so I've been using clip art on Facebook posts.
Yep.
So I can be arrested or something for that.
You'll lose every penny, right? Like all your pay away.
We're all going to be in jail a little bit if that's the case.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I need to pause here for just a moment. I want to stop here for just a second. We're coming up on 8:30. I welcome you guys to stay. I'm happy to carry on the conversation here, but if anyone does need to leave, I want to be able to let everyone say goodbye if they want to, but I'm happy to stay and talk more. And Dorothy, stick on. We'll be able to walk through some more of this. I'm happy to walk through some more questions. I'm trying to see, who was it? Was it Tolly or Chris? Were you the one asking about like promotional stuff earlier too?
Yeah, like if you have a special event and you're trying to promote your club, and I
can
do graphics.
I can show you that too. I can show you that too here. So, okay, I wanted to just pause there for a second and allow whoever wanted to drop off to drop off. Please stay on if you'd like to. We can keep kind of talking through a couple of the questions here. I like the fact that you guys are asking very good questions. There's a lot out there. So thank you guys very much for sticking around if you'd like. All right, so first of all, I'm going to circle back to Chris because I know that she asked that. So one of the things that they do show in here is some of the resources, and this is kind of where we had not gotten to yet. And there's a way to be able to use the brand portal that takes care of everything from a business card to a brochure to your email signature. All of that stuff is out here and provides some guidance. Go ahead, Marcy. Oh, I thought you were waving like you wanted to talk. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to just scoot through here a little bit. And if I don't find it on here, and forgive me for not having this perfectly upright and stuff, out on Toastmasters International, and even you can even Google this, you can type in Toastmasters International Open House, and you're going to have flyers come up, the branded ones, that will provide you guys with promotional information in that capacity. There's everything from a billboard to a brochure to a flyer. All of that stuff is out on the resources section of the Toastmasters International website. Have you been out there before, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Is that answering your question?
No, because I think I was more focused on, the colors, the logo, and those types of things rather than more detailed information. So okay. I haven't had time to really look through all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. So can I ask a quick question? What are people using for creating their graphics that they're using in the different platforms?
I'm using Canva.
You're using Canva. That's great. Anybody else?
I've used Canva too.
What is Canva? I'm just going to throw that out there.
It's an virtual online platform that you can do, and there's a free account, and they have templates that you can use and customize your colors so that you are developing professional looking posts. And it saves, it is a time saver. If you put your information, once you customize it to be able to use, and there are a number of Toastmaster clubs using it. We're using PicMonkey in District 42, and I'm training a lot of people on that because that's the platform that I was using prior to coming on to all this, and I've been using it for 5 or 6, but it's for creating your visuals. And what I found is a lot of people were using PowerPoint, or they were using Word to create the documents, and that's labor intensive. Whereas if you use something like a Canva that you can upload your fonts to and put everything in, it's a very easy way to create your announcements and look very professional and be brand compliant. And one of the other things I encourage you is just look at, just put in the hashtag Toastmasters and look at some of the other things that clubs are doing, and you will see the ones that are brand compliant. It's a great opportunity and should inspire you with lots of ideas. I think there's some great stuff out there.
Yep. Thanks. Okay, Chris, you were asking for some specifics, and I mentioned that there's information about fonts. There's 2 that Toastmasters International identifies here. One is Gotham, and the other one is Montserrat.
Montserrat.
Yuck.
Okay.
And there is a link right here for free access to it. A lot of people have Gotham already available. If you want to use the other one, you can't. But those are your 2 fonts.
Yeah, Montserrat, it seems to be pretty standard as well. So I might be saying it wrong. I don't know.
Yep. Here's another one too.
You got it. That's right.
Yep. It's a mouthful, isn't it? Myriad Pro is another one. The link right here for it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And then going back here with the color palette. So, oh, shoot. Sorry. I went the wrong way. Let me make this bigger so we can see what they're talking about here. Okay. So what we're looking at here is 4 different ways to obtain the true maroon and 4 different instructions on how to do the blue and the gray. So these numbers are what you're going to use to change the color. I'm going to stop sharing here for just a second, and I'm going to bring up, and you guys can use this too as an example here with the Word document. Where'd you go? Come back here. One more change here. Okay. Are you able to see my screen where it says intro and icebreakers? Okay. So if we were to highlight this, it shows you that I already have it in the correct font. And right down here, they talk about font color. When you do this drop down, there's this really important section called More Colors. If you hit Custom, you're going to see a couple options here. RGB. Look down below here. Are you able to see RGB in the colors? RGB, RGB. So if you use that, if we're going to do the red, the R is 119. You type that in there. 36 and 50. There's your red, there's your maroon.
Yeah, or you can just do the hex. I was, yeah.
Yep. There, yeah, I want to, there's plenty of options there too. Yes. Oh, and when you say hex, let me, like, what did you just call me? No, I'm kidding.
The
hex is right here, and this is the number. So you can type the number in right here. This
it starts with that pound sign.
Yep. The CMYK is another option that sometimes is here. It isn't on mine. But for sure, you should have at least one color model, typically RGB, and then the hex one. So you have two different ways to be able to change the color scheme on your fonts.
But in that example, so on that page you're looking at right there, that girl has an orange sweater. That's okay though, right?
That's one of the branded photos that are that's available to use. So,
but
again,
I mean, your photos don't need to comply with the brand standards.
You should be using photos that are part of the photo gallery. That's what.
Oh, you can't use your own photos?
You can, but until you have an understanding of what those should look like, we recommend that you use the ones that are available here. So bear with me here for a second while I screen through here. Whoop, there we go. So right here on photoshelter.com galleries, once you click on here, there is going to be a plethora of options as far as photos go. Yes, it's nice to be able to use your own photos, but it's a lot easier sometimes to grab some of them off of here.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason I use Canva, is because if you have Pro, it's not very expensive. You have a lot more access to photos, but I do this for several different organizations. So
yep. There's a lot of different branded photo collections here. There's 6 different ones, and there's 15 different files in each one of these. So there's quite a bit out here to start with. And again, it's a way to be able to get that same look and feel to the brand and the information that you're doing. So earlier, there was the question about Facebook. Grab one of these photos, use them out there instead.
So just to be devil's advocate here, one of the things I've studied for trying to get people to engage on social media is they said if it fits the brand standard, people are just going to scroll past, and you need to actually not have a highly. So anyway, I'm not arguing. I will do what you guys say, but I'm just devil's advocate, feeding back a different perspective.
Yep. And there's a lot of, I'm excited to have you come back when we do start to talk about some of the social media platforms and the correct way to engage. There's some good conversation around that. And I do plan to have one of our monthly meetings on that topic too. So thank you for bringing that up. There is more to it than just a picture, but the picture can mean a lot, right?
And I think, Chris, I agree with you, and I know that as a social media manager. If I have some things too branded, they're not shareable to an exterior audience to build it. And so I have to, for some of my clients, I try to create a more generic look for some of their items so that it reaches out to a broader audience. However, a lot of what we're creating as VPPRs and as PRMs is gauged towards an internal audience, unless we're doing and when we are branding it out to reach out, we need to use that image because we're just supporting Toastmasters in our outreach to do that. But I think the voice that we do it with, they're just trying to help us unite so that we don't look like a whole bunch of little individual people off on our own. That all of a sudden you're aware you're a member of a much larger organization. But I'm going to say goodnight now. This is wonderful to see you coming together. Wishing you much success in your journey. Have fun. Have fun. It's a great fun thing to do. I think this is one of the best roles to have in Toastmasters because you get to engage with everybody at every level and bring out the best in people. And you're the ones that can make it fun. Enjoy yourself.
Thanks so much, Marcy, for attending. I appreciate it. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Does anyone else have any questions or conversation that you'd like to talk about? Anything you want to touch base on here? I'm happy to stay on and talk through a few more things.
One quick question. All those links, all that was in the brand manual, right? Those links?
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't see the whole screen for some reason, so,
Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry.
Well,
Yes,
no, that's probably me. I don't know why. I'm only seeing part of everything, so it's,
it depends on how I'm sharing my screen too. So yes, that copy of the brand manual that I put in the agenda, once you have that open, this is your Bible. Save it, and everything that's in that manual is going to have all the links and everything that I shared there. And yes, it provides a massive amount of good information for you to start with. Anything
I have
else?
another question. I don't
Yes.
want to, if nobody else does, I don't want to take up time. You asked about taglines. So I had no idea what to put in, and it feels like that needs to be a club decision rather than, my decision. So I just made something up for the chat. But is that supposed to be, is a club supposed to have its own custom tagline, or are they supposed to take the Toastmasters tagline?
Toastmasters tagline. Where leaders
Okay,
are
so your
made.
question about what's your tagline was like a trick question, or just a
It
getting
was
to know
part of our
you icebreaker?
Yes, I'm here to trick you. No, it was all part of my icebreaker. It was just a way to connect with each other and nothing more. And it was an interesting
Oh,
way to get to know
so
each other a little more. Yeah,
it was looking for a personal tagline, not the club tagline.
correct. Yeah,
Okay, I didn't understand. I didn't. Yeah.
that's all right.
I'm like, okay, thank you.
It was just a way to get to know
Sorry.
each other a little bit more. So, do you have a personal tagline that you want to share now, or did more beyond what you already did? Kim, do you have?
Mine would be not thriving, not just surviving. So, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah. Mine was work in
I'm still in the
progress.
surviving phase.
Yeah, you got you.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are there. Totally agree with you, Chris. Kim, anything on your end?
Okay.
Well, I have, my word for the year is focus.
Ah.
So if I was to put a tagline today, it would be, continue to focus, or don't lose focus, kind of
Don't lose focus.
tagline.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I have to go with a word for the year.
Yeah.
So I can remember it.
Yeah. It's nice and simple, totally to the
It's a
point.
good way.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good way.
All right, guys.
And I just want to clarify, my club is not, they're not resistant or anything like that. They're all way more experienced than me. So I want to have good ammunition, good justification for changing things. So okay.
I hope I was able to give you that tonight in some capacity.
Yeah.
I am here to answer other questions,
Okay.
and I know I didn't have the opportunity to really close up the meeting when everybody was still here and stuff, but I will be following up again. I typically send out the recording from the meeting out to everybody too. So everything that's, and it's a video recording, so everything that you see us talking about here and what I was showing will be available that way too. And I do post it out on the District 78 website too. So the agenda and a video recording of this fun evening. So thanks, guys. I sincerely appreciate it. Two?
Thank you.
Are you deuces? Your peace out? Is that what you were saying, Kim? Peace out. Okay. Thanks so much, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your week. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.